got new hair and I've been asked a lot to explain how I did all of this. I'll have better pictures. I just feel like keeping it tied back right now. Yeah, so how I did my Skittles hair. My friend says it reminds him of Skittles, so I call this my Skittle hair dye. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's pretty great. In case you can't tell from the photos because they're pretty crappy, I'm using like my cell phone and all of the ones that you'll see in this video. It's just, we got pink bangs, I've got a little bit of teal right here. The rest of my hair is purple, and then the end is teal green. And I've got the same, I always have the bangs and that one side strip. The side strip is also pink, and then I have that little blonde streak. Usually that's about right here, and it's still there, but it got kind of stained this light pastel and purple, or pastel blue and purple color, and it's tucked back here as well, and you can't really see it in any of my photos. I meant to leave it blonde, but it got stained in the rinsing process. So yeah, so I didn't record doing all of the hair because it was hours and my bathroom's pretty small. I didn't have much room to move around and get everything to be perfect while dealing with a camera as well, and so didn't record it, but I can explain what I did. So got a list of the products I use. I'll just put them up on the screen, but I only used five hair dyes for all of this, and I didn't actually end up using much in any of the containers, and I'll explain how I did that. But from special effects, I used Wildflower and Deep Purple. Those are two purple, well, Deep Purple's clearly a purple color, but Wildflower I've talked about in a video in the past. It's more of an indigo color. By Raw Color, I used Twisted Teal. And by Manic Panic, I used Red Passion, which I've reviewed, and a new one, Hot Hot Pink. So yeah. So okay, what I did was, you might have seen the other video where, I talked about how I had all blonde hair because I bleached it. I started by sectioning off what I didn't want to be purple, which was my bangs mostly, and the side and the little blonde streak. And I had them all pinned up to my head. And I have two brushes that I use. They both are from Sally's. Most things I get are from Sally's, but I'll explain all of where I get all my stuff in a different video. But I use two brushes, a small detailer tinting brush and a large one, a large tint brush. I use the smaller one for, outlining around there, where I was not going to touch the blonde, so I applied the purple like that, because if I use the large brush there's more of a chance of screwing up. And then also for around the face, because if you use this you're just splatting it all over the side of your head, so it's easier to just use a really small brush. They're both really cheap at Sally's. Again, if I make another video I'll put Sally's online prices about these and talk about them more. But I use these two brushes after I'd sectioned off my hair, just pinning them up, and I look like a unicorn. It was weird. Pinning them up right there. I did the purple, and I did my whole head except for the bottom. I left a couple inches at the bottom, and I made it look kind of uneven because I've got a lot of hair. It's kind of impossible to be completely even with it, but I also wanted it to look kind of rugged and natural, and things in nature aren't perfectly even all time, or usually even our faces are asymmetrical if you look closely enough. So I was okay with, you know, variation and asymmetricality, and if like the teal went higher on one part and lower in another, you know, whatever. I thought it would look nice, and it does look really awesome. But so I did the purple, and then I applied heat, you know, just with a hairdryer. Then I took my teal and I mixed it in. Oh, I'm skipping one huge part. Mixing bowl. I took my purple, and I used two purples, and I alternated between the two because I didn't want to use a lot of product. I wanted to save it because I wanted to keep up with this. So I alternated between the two purples, which ended up being a pretty bad idea because Wildflower is kind of iffy if you're mixing it with conditioner, which is what I did to save me from using so much pigment. I mix it with conditioner and apply it like that. But when you mix Wildflower with conditioner, it turns like this really pretty lilac color, but also it acts really weird, and sometimes it won't stick or hold, and it just ended up tinting parts of my hair white, which is what I had been going for weeks ago, but it didn't want to do it then. It decided to wait till now when I did not want it tinted to actually tint it. So that happened, and I ended up going back over it the next day with the deep purple and conditioner. But I mixed the two of those with conditioner in the bowl separately, and I alternated, and I did all of it. And then when I got to the teal, same thing, pour in a good large amount of conditioner because I wanted a little bit of dye to go a long way. Poured in my dye, mixed it, and then I applied it to all of the ends of my hair, and I made sure I got it up into the purple as well as I mixed it. And then I let it sit for about 4 hours maybe, and I would occasionally apply heat with my hairdryer. And then I rinsed it all out with cold water because I've read multiple things about rinsing it with cold water. I've heard it shocks your hair. I think what it does is it gets the pores to close, kind of like how you scrub out your face with warm water and then you do like cold water and it gets the pores to close. So it helps lock in the hair color somehow. I don't know. I'm not a salon person. Yeah, so once I rinsed it out with cold water, because I don't like washing my hair with cold water because I get cold really easily, I turned it on warm and I shampooed it with Color Safe shampoo. And still a lot came out, but it was still really, really vibrant, and it doesn't like fade as much. I can't really say fade. Like, I mean, a large amount washes out at first because in the initial wash you're getting out all of the excess dye and leftover material. But after that, like ever since, my showers are pretty clear. It's not really washing out. So, hey. Rinse with cold water and then wash it with shampoo. You're done. Then for the bangs, I did separately. I separated them in half, including this part. I mean, you can't really tell. And on the bottom half of my bangs, I used Manic Panic's Hot Hot Pink, which this was my first time using it. And I'll review it some other time, but did that. And then on the top layer in this portion, I used Red Passion. And the two ended up kind of like bleeding together, so they're all sort of the same color, but in good lighting, you can kind of see how the two are separated. So that's what I did. Again, with Manic Panic, I rinsed those out with cold water as well and then styled as usual. I really like it so far. All the colors are bright. I adore it. I would love to keep this for a long time. I haven't had to patch up much. I went back in and patched up the places that Wildflower left, and I went and I patched those up, and then there were a few more places I had done kind of uneven application with the teal, because by then I'd been dyeing my hair for hours and I was just like, oh, slapping it on. So I went back and I touched a bit of that up, but it didn't really need much, and now I think I'm good for a few weeks. Hopefully this stays. But yeah, that's how I did it. It's not that hard. Okay, well, when you explain it, it's not that hard. The actual execution of it is pretty annoying and complicated, but it looks fantastic and I completely love it. That's how I did it. So yeah, that's all. Awkward ending. Bye.